All right. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays, coming to you live as the markets are fully opened and not many announcements other than the conferences. And with that note, we are going straight to the charts. Actually, wait, two announcements. Well, the conference, obviously. I am posting the videos from Understanding Bitcoin. I just released 3 more this morning. I just don't have the time to premiere them. I released one the other day. Ben Sessions, BTC Sessions, did a workshop on Lightning. Then there was a presentation by Simon of Mempool Space about the Mempool and like how it works, basically. Then another workshop by BTC Sessions and Giacomo Zucco on how to set up a hardware wallet. The hardware wallet we used was Jade. That was the wallet we gave to everyone that attended. Shout out to Blockstream for sponsoring with hardware and giving everyone a hardware wallet. And then the end of day Q&A. And I'm going to release all of the day 2 videos tomorrow, guys. Or at least half of them tomorrow and the rest the next day. So please go to the Understanding Bitcoin channel if you're curious what you missed at the last Understanding Bitcoin conference. Unconfiscatable is on sale. It is available on sale. We will continue to update the website as we go. Need to update the speakers. We're getting some really good speakers. There might be some new names out here that you haven't seen before, but because some people can't travel. But we're gonna make this amazing, absolutely amazing. Hey, the ticket price was supposed to be 500. We left it 400 for just the first 50 tickets. You can see there's only 36 left. So hurry up, because once we sell these 36 tickets, there will like the next 200 or 250 tickets will be available at a price of 500. The carnivory dinner will not go down. That's actually an expensive dinner at the Mob Museum. The VIP gets a lot of cool shit, including the dinner and other stuff. This is if you have extra guests that want to come to the after party and watch the scammies, but aren't going to be at the conference. So this is just only the after party, which is included with your conference ticket. And the poker tournament is, of course, separate. Click on this to get to the poker tournament registration. It is completely independent. All right, now we can go to the charts. The month is over, and you can see how we are right smack in the middle of this ascending triangle. To be honest with you guys, I would love to touch the bottom of this ascending triangle one more time. I would love to hit the bottom of that. Now, if we hit the bottom of it this month, that sucks, because that means the price has crashed down to $50,000. If we hit the bottom of it next month, it's not that bad. That means that price has only crashed to 54,000, and considering we're currently at 58, that's not really that big of a deal, is it? So, that's basically what I'm looking at. Either way, I'm looking for a breakout of this triangle. I'm not looking for any major downside. I don't think we're going to hit that intermediate moving average anytime soon. I think there'll need to be a big blow off top before that happens. So I am bullish here in this market on a monthly scale. Next, the weekly chart. Let's look at the oscillators now that the month is over, even though the week is not over. So the candle hasn't changed. We are still somewhat bullish on the RSI long term. It doesn't look great if you compare it to 2020, the end of 2020, early 2021, but it looks great when you compare it to the end of 2018, where the bear market kind of sort of ended. But to me, the bear market really ended over here in March 2020. And the latest drop did not take us any lower on the RSI. So that's a nice, good sign. The MACD could stave off disaster if we don't go down too much more. And I love the CMF. That looks great. All right, price action. Price action has not changed. I'm sorry, guys. It has not changed. We are identical to the prior candle. The only thing that makes the current candle a little more bullish than the prior candle is that the current candle has not crossed below last week's low. We also have not crossed above last week's high. So nothing has changed. We're sitting in the middle of last week's range. Now, last week's range gave us a red star candle, which based on the MRI tells you that there's trouble in the market. But I've also stated many times that the prior two times we've gotten that, it did not lead to much, and all we did was bounce off of the next level's moving average. Now, we did not make it to the next level's moving average, so the market is actually a little bit stronger than anticipated. It would have been nice to actually hit this moving average early this week, but it looks like we may not get there. So we are completely neutral in the market, but not enough to call the weekly chart actually super bullish. Just slightly leaning bullish. This is my position trading chart. We took a more defensive stance. The last candle, these are 4-day candles. They seem to be acting the best. Now, this candle did almost bounce off the long period moving average, which is the 30 period moving average. We like it because it did it before. This time it came up just shy. And we did take a lower allocation. And now we wait to reallocate back towards 75%. What will need to happen in order for us to reallocate back to 75%? Well, we would need the price of Bitcoin to go all the way up and break the intermediate term moving average, which is the 9 period moving average. But keep in mind, at that point, if the price of Bitcoin gets above this intermediate term moving average, the 3 period moving average is going to be very close to crossing over it. And if that happens, we're going to be back to immediately 100% allocation. So there's not going to be this leg in from going from 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 90. If this happens, it can go immediately from 50 to 100. There will probably be an intermediate step because we can break this moving average without the moving averages crossing. So that would create like an 80% allocation. And then the final straw would be the 3 period moving average breaking above the 9 period moving average. And in that case, we go back into 100% allocation. And I have zero problem lowering the allocation to 75%, lowering it to 50% here, and then going back in at a higher price, back to 100%, because we did maintain bullish conviction. We did maintain bullish exposure to Bitcoin, while at the same time sleeping a lot better at night by not being scared that the price is going to crash and take our portfolio down with it. Okay? And this is how you mitigate risk and never get liquidated in the market. The daily chart. The daily chart is my bread and butter. This is my favorite chart to trade historically on all markets as a swing trader. Disappointing, we did not touch the 128-day moving average. That would have created the absolute perfect buy the dip. People keep talking about some kind of an ascending triangle on the daily. I don't see it. I don't see it, guys. I don't see an ascending triangle. I don't see a descending triangle. I don't see a triangle at all in any way, shape, or form. Maybe I'm missing it. I have no idea. But I don't see any triangles here. None whatsoever. So like I said, disappointing. We didn't get a perfect buy the dip. We did break the MRI support line, which is unfortunate. I don't like breaking the MRI support line, especially when we bounce immediately after breaking the MRI support line. Usually you bounce off the MRI support line without breaking it. This time we broke it. A break of the support line indicates continuation. Just like a break of resistance generally indicates continuation. This is of course a slightly special case. I'm liking today's chart, today's candle. Today's bullish candle looks great. Yesterday's bullish candle did not look great. I did not do a video yesterday. I was just so busy getting Unconfiscatable up and running and getting the website on sale and going through all the bugs of the confirmation emails, things like that. So once again, Unconfiscatable is fully on sale. We have a special for the first 50 tickets. The first 50 tickets. I offered this special in a Telegram group only for last year's attendees. A lot of them did not immediately jump on the offer, so now you guys can have it. Anybody can have it, okay? We do anticipate to sell out this conference. It's not big. It's not big. Max capacity is about 400 people. If we sell 250 tickets, I'm happy, okay? This is mostly ticket-driven event. There are not that many sponsors. We're trying to get sponsors, but we are very selective in our sponsors. In fact, we are so selective and proud of our sponsors that we are putting a bit of our reputation on the line here by having the sponsors do a demo day the day before the conference in the afternoon. Those that arrive early get to check out the demos from our sponsors, because if we felt that the sponsor did not have a good product for Bitcoiners, they would not be a sponsor of this conference. However, when the Scammy Awards come, I haven't reached out yet, but I am happy to take money of any altcoins, any shitcoins. We are willing to let the shitcoiners sponsor the Scammy Awards, especially if they are nominated for a Scammy Award. This page will be built out when you click on it. Right now it does nothing. We'll post a video from last year's Scammy Awards, and that is the only way something with a shitcoin will get to sponsor Unconfiscatable, is if they're only sponsoring the Scammy Awards, ideally if they're nominated for something. Hey guys, if you don't want to come, don't come. This is what capitalism is. If you don't want to come and support the conference, oh boy, but you watch this channel every day? That says something more about you than it says something about me. We provide these events as long as they are in demand. Once there is no demand, there is no reason to have this event. So like I said, price goes up to 500 for a ticket after the next 36 are sold, so go for it. Yeah, that's the other problem. Last Unconfiscatable had a huge international audience, a really big international audience. And we are running into the problem of people not able to enter the US because of the US vaccine mandate on tourists. It's a problem. All right, daily chart. Back to the daily chart. Yesterday's candle was not very pretty. It continued the rejection of this downward trend line. It had huge volatility by creating a new high and a new low. But current candle so far looks really good and really promising. But, and there's always a but, until we break the prior swing highs, and the 50 period moving average. This could be all about nothing. Now, it looks good. It has a high probability of breaking this average if it gets there. But as far as jumping in on a 10x leverage bullish trade, you may want to hold your horses on that, okay? I would rather go big time long after the break of the 50 period moving average than before, because until it breaks it, you have to assume it's a rejection. And keep in mind, the longer the time between hits of a moving average, the more likely it is to act like it's supposed to act. So the probability of this moving average being a rejection point on November 26th was a lot lower than the probability of this moving average being a rejection point on, say, December 5th or 6th. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Oh, I like this hourly chart. The hourly chart looks really good. We just broke this MRI resistance line. Notice how it held right here beautifully. And then again, and now it broke. Now the prior one also held the first time, broke the second time, had a bit of a pullback, created a new one in approximately the same area, and just broke that one. So the hourly chart looks very, very bullish. GBTC, I'm still waiting for that GBTC premium to break the zero barrier. Let's see what happens at the very end of the year. Oil is holding its MRI support line. Notice oil has not broken an MRI support line going back all the way to the beginning of the year. Since the bull market started in oil, it has not broken a single MRI support line to the downside. Beautiful top on the MRI too. Wait, why do I have these crosshairs? I'm not a big fan of these crosshairs. Anyway, I'll take them out later. Gold isn't interesting. S&P, however, should be interesting. Talk about a giant yo-yo. So now that the elites have realized what happens to the markets when they start to scare people on the latest COVID variant, which magically happens to have the same symptoms as everyone accused the vaccines of having, like heart attacks. And they have to back their words up a little bit. I mean, I'm sure some people in the we want to dominate other human space were very happy with destroying the stock market in early 2020 here. But those elites have stocks also, okay? And you can't have an entire portfolio made up of Pfizer and Moderna. Therefore, they're going to have to scale back on their fears of the latest variant, because otherwise the stocks will crash. And they don't really want the stocks to crash because they want to make money too. So these arrows turned out to be somewhat accurate up to this point. Beautiful pullback right into a combination of moving average and MRI support line. And I believe the stock market is about to go higher. Thank you for birthday wishes, though it's not actually my birthday. I am not going to an Acapulco. I used to go to an Acapulco. I was a speaker at an Acapulco the first 3 years. But unlike unconfiscatable, which does its best possible job to bring you non-scammy sponsors, it feels like an Acapulco literally does the complete opposite. It goes out of their way to bring you the scammiest sponsors possible. Now, there are exceptions. I'm pretty sure that one or two sponsors, as much as our due diligence will do, might sneak in that may not be the best choices for Bitcoiners. It's possible in the future at some point. It's the complete opposite for an Acapulco, where it has to be like a complete miracle that there is a sponsor company of an Acapulco that is actually honest and has a real legit company. And that is why I kind of stopped associating with an Acapulco. Now, I do speak at other shitcoin conferences, but that might actually come to an end as well in the near future. S&P 500 on a monthly chart. Well, here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart isn't that interesting at the moment. The month has ended. Whoa, look at that. There was a monthly MRI top. So we are still in the middle of a 1 to 4 candle correction or slowdown, and then probably more upside. Here's the monthly chart. I still believe we're going to hit the top of that channel. Look, we broke the bottom of that channel due to COVID, and now we're going to break the top of that channel due to inflation. Markets always find a way to go back and forth, back and forth. How can you be expecting a catastrophe in the stock market when there is massive inflation? Inflation raises the price of the stocks. For the same reason, it's rising the price of your food. All right, so Rio Tinto. I was supposed to look at it last time. Thank you for the super chat. The Turkish lira is collapsing. And if you have savings in a Turkish lira, you may want to consider Bitcoin. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm liking this chart. The weekly chart bounced off the MRI support line. Wow, like a textbook. Look at that. That looks nice. What about the daily? Let's look at the quarterly BTC at the end of the quarter, guys. Which is 1 month from now. I don't like the way this bottomed. Way too much consolidation at the bottom. But if Rio Tinto breaks the prior swing high and starts to break that second tier moving average, yeah, this thing can move. This thing can move right into the intermediate moving average. Sorry, the long-term moving average. It is declining. You know, don't expect a moonshot, but it's definitely oversold a bit. Hey Hugo, hope the podcast is going well. Hey Jimmy, Brian, it's hard. Thanks for moderating the channel, guys. Do I feel large Bitcoin mining companies are a problem? No, I don't. Guys, the only thing that I feel is a problem are people who try to change things because they feel something else is a problem. All right, I'm a believer in free market capitalism. Like, if I think large Bitcoin companies are a problem and I, create a country to do something about it, then it's worse. It's worse. Let the free market do its thing. Yeah, Bitcoin Citadels. We're working on those. Tone, do you ever compare the dollar to Bitcoin? No, I don't. I don't see any reason to, because the price of Bitcoin is driven by speculation. It is not driven by the dollar. The dollar in the most volatile year of DXY, the dollar will move 5%. Bitcoin will move 100% or 50% down in any given year. Like the dollar's correlation on Bitcoin is completely irrelevant. Completely. Like, of all the reasons why Bitcoin changes price, 99.9% of it has nothing to do with the inflation of the US dollar. Now, notice how I said 99.9 or maybe 99. Let's give it a little bit more credit, right? 99%. 99% may have something to do with the inflation, but that's only 1%. 1%. Okay? All right, that is it, guys. I may glance at a couple of stocks. Not interesting. I like the Google. Google looks good. The internet spying's paying off. It looks fairly bullish. Just got to break that moving average. Netflix doesn't look good. Guess people starting to go outside again. Whoa. Speaking of going outside, what the hell happened here? That looks ugly. Ugly. Roku, what are you doing? Clearly not much. Apple, jeez. That's bullish. Tesla. Tesla looks bullish, guys. Looks bullish. Facebook, not so much. Giant symmetric triangle, I'd stay away from it. I'm just going to try to get to Nvidia or maybe Tilray. Microsoft, no man's land. AMD is bullish, man. Good job, chip manufacturers. What about Nvidia? Also bullish, very bullish. And Ford, look at Ford go. That's a very bullish chart. Look at that. I would love to see this breakout happen. Very nice. And finally, Tilray. Ooh. Oh, but it's an MRI buy. That could be something. I don't like the fact that it's consolidating near the bottom, but this is good for a bit of a bounce. Keep an eye on that. And Starbucks isn't interesting. All right. Oh, what about Twitter on their new CEO? Oh boy, look at that. Look at that. See, so Jack Dorsey resigns. Twitter stock pops because obviously socialists hate Jack Dorsey because Jack Dorsey was probably keeping Twitter away from, you know, completely censoring anyone that didn't agree with the socialist mandate of anything. And but investors realized real quick that if Twitter now bans half of its users, there's not going to be much money to be made. So this is telling of Twitter. So as Twitter continues to kick more people off its platform, look at that. Twitter stock does not look good. Like, this is very telling. Very telling. This basically says that idiots who hate Jack Dorsey thought that this would be a great thing by Jack Dorsey leaving. But then smart investors said, hell no, with Jack Dorsey leaving, censorship on Twitter is going to increase. The increase in censorship leads to less users. Less users lead to less revenue. Okay? So, Twitter stock got annihilated after Jack, from that early jump. So it shows you who the stupid investors are, right? If you bought in on Twitter on the announcement that Jack Dorsey is leaving, and you bought an overnight market, and you got in right at the open of the day, you don't understand how markets work, because real investors smacked you down. And the next day going lower than this day into like a yearly low? A new yearly low? Yep. The next day creating a brand new yearly low for Twitter should have told anyone that bought the Twitter stock on the day of Jack Dorsey's resignation is you don't understand markets and probably capitalism. So be very careful about your trading decisions going forward. Hey, I have a big Australian following. Hi to you as well. Enjoy the internet while it lasts over there, because I have a feeling that's the next lockdown is no internet. That's how I feel about Australia. That's a really good question, KB. Why do you think leftists have been able to take over all the top companies? You know, not all the CEOs are leftists, but basically most of the people at the top do seem to be leftists. And it's more of this, it's a mentality, it's a groupthink mentality. And the world has been on a socialist, leftist, tyrannical like wave where most people have a problem thinking critically and for themselves. So they have to think in a group. They need help thinking. They need help doing stuff. You can look at it in another way. Like if you're joining a fraternity or a sorority in your university and you're doing it for anything other than future connections, for let's say job opportunities. If you're doing it for to be more like social, then you are in that groupthink. Then you are unable to pretty much, you need help making decisions, right? This is like I said, there's two reasons to join a sorority or fraternity. It's this need to belong to a group or a strategic play for career advancement with connections. And you're willing to put up with friends that you may not like, that you now have to be brothers and sisters with. And you're willing to do a bunch of dumb shit in order to join this club. So that's the dynamic, right? And a lot of the people that become CEOs are from this groupthink dynamic. So my view is those that become heads of companies that come from that sorority fraternity environment are going to be a lot more on the socialist side of the situation. Because, especially if you joined it in order to have friends. Probably pissed off a bunch of my audience that have been in sororities or fraternities. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you really want to reconsider your thinking as to why you're doing it. You should be able to make friends and think critically for yourself. A top-down structure where you're told what to do is not ideal. You get used to that mentality as a kid, in school as well. This is why homeschooled kids tend to do really well, but 1 out of 100 homeschool kids ends up doing something crazy and stupid, and that's what gets, highlighted in the media as to why homeschooling is bad. Like kids that are homeschooled, their parents generally, put them in more social situations where they have to make friends on their own and not have to be forced made friends with other kids in their class. The concept that there are people that think that Ethereum will ever flip Bitcoin is scary. Forget this cycle. Alright guys, that's it for me. Unconfiscatable on sale now. On sale, come join us in Vegas if you can find a way into this country. If you're not in the country, we are expecting a bit of a hit on international attendees. A lot of international attendees last time. We're going to miss them this year because my audience is generally anti-vaccine because they're independently thinking. Thank you, Vasco, for your generous donation. Twice. Thank you, Vasco. But yeah, join us at the conference. Also, videos from Understanding Bitcoin. Another conference I try to do to educate people on Bitcoin. Alright, so check them out. The Mempool. Whoa, Mempool backed up. What happened there? Haven't seen 33 blocks in the Mempool in quite a while. What's going on? What is going on? Some miners go offline? What happened? Well, this doesn't look too bad. It's a lot of transactions, but they're not very expensive. That's interesting. That is really interesting. There's a lot of transactions in the Mempool right now, but they are of low sats per byte. That is rare. That is very rare. It's got to be some big operation just kind of reconsolidating the coins. Interesting. Really interesting. Look, there's 33 block backup, and you can still get in at 9 sat per byte. That's rare. I can't remember the last time I've seen that. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. I'll keep promoting Unconfiscatable, and the Financial Summit will probably go on sale later this week. It's been a nightmare dealing with contracts for these venues. If you guys think organizing these conferences is easy, you have never ever in your life organized a conference or even a barbecue for more than 100 people. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave it here. I think I covered everything. And see you all on the next one. Oh, Hugo messaged me. Did you see this amazing interview with Michael Saylor on Tucker Carlson? I haven't. I need to watch the interview Tucker Carlson did with the Kennedy that wrote the book about Fauci. I really need to watch that. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. So I need to catch up on that stuff. Again, I'm just too busy trying to get these conferences off the ground, guys. And making sure they don't lose me a shit ton of money again, like they tend to do. Talk to you all on the next one.